Whitehall Mystery, Oxenfree, and Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. This is Staying In.
Elise, I don't know whether or not Sam has told you this, but I've updated my spreadsheet. I know. So I have taken... Obviously, you guys know that I did my graphic novel database, where I was like, right, I'm going to write down all the graphic novels that I have, and I'm going to list them all out, and it's going to be great. And then that means that in the future, when I go into a comic book store, I won't not know what things I own. And Sam is always perturbed by this idea.
Well, no, because it means you make it sound like it's at the flick of a button, you know exactly whether you've got it or not. But actually, what you've got to do is scroll through 300 listings on a Google sheet.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I can use search. You can use the search functionality. That's fine. I can do that. And it is alphabetized, so that's all good. I've updated this. I've added in a tab for my video games.
Excellent.
That's what I spent my Sunday doing. That was a Sunday well spent, and it was all Sunday. I went through all of my video game collection and had a sort out.
In that time, you could have come up here and gone to Dun and Massey with Kris.
Yeah, I was frolicking with deer.
He really was. It was beautiful.
Actually,
it was like
hundreds
Bambi.
of deer. It was, yeah. I was frolicking with deer.
Had you never been before, Kris?
No, I'd never been before.
Oh, I loved Dun and Massey.
It's fantastic. Basically, it's a National Trust property where hundreds of deer just roam wild, Pete, just around you. It's gorgeous.
So can you
You can't play video games there, no.
You could no, but can you
Take a
can you
picnic.
interact with them? Can you
Interact?
Are you encouraged to
have a conversation?
No. I mean, are you encouraged to pet them?
You're not encouraged to pet them. In fact, you're dissuaded from doing so. They're quite tame. I mean, we didn't really go right up next to them, pat them on the head. They were mainly being chased by children. It was a bit like Horizon Zero Dawn.
Sure.
And there was just one guy in a golf buggy that would drive around and tell people off for getting too close to them. But no, it was great.
It is a lovely place.
Well, that sounds actually pretty nice. So you had a wander around with a bunch of deer.
Yep. And then I got a message from you. I got an email from you.
Yeah.
And I thought this drive was, I don't know, an extension of this holiday we're planning. But actually, when I opened it up and I sat in the car, I just showed it to my significant other. I said, "Look, he's done it again. You thought our Sunday was good."
Yeah, yeah. Finally, he's cracked it. He's managed to put 300 lines of video game data into a spreadsheet, and also there are now 2 bags. Hold on, everyone, hold on. Over it. I'm going to hold this up to you. This isn't going to work on audio, but this is a bag, and this is a bag, right? Big carrier bagfuls of basically what those are tat. That's all video games. There's a bunch of stuff I'm just getting rid of. So I've had a purge. I needed to, because I need to free up space so I can...
Pete, I wouldn't normally agree with you about your Sunday habits, but I did the same as you on Sunday. I took 7 bags to the charity shop.
All Sam stuff.
This is going to be the worst podcast ever, isn't it, if we carry this on? Yeah.
Because Lisa, as long as I've known Lisa, this has been a topic that I've learnt a lot on about. I thought I was into dark stuff until I met Lisa Mart.
So basically, I am really into crime podcasts, specifically true crime.
Right, okay.
And not just podcasts, TV, shows, books. Basically, the more murder, the better. And Kris isn't laughing because he's not shocked. So
let me get this straight. There are programs on television and there are podcasts, I'm assuming. I mean, in fact, I know there are podcasts because I've heard of Serial. But there are TV programs where they talk about... I'm assuming they talk about real crimes. They're not doing the crime when they're
Yeah, it's not No,
It's not like it's not.
So-
It's not like that old TV. No, there was an old TV show where they used to film people doing crimes.
You mean police camera action?
Yeah, police camera action.
Oh, that's a different kettle of fish, but I love that. And police interceptors. There was a police interceptors. I was watching it on TV, and they were flying through the village me and Sam live in. Couldn't believe it. It's like, oh my god. But yes, so my current favourite podcast for like the last year or so since it started is an Australian one called Case File.
Right.
And on television, I like to watch Forensic Files. Now, both of these kind of look at cases that have already happened and talk about how they were solved, and
Right.
so it's all true. So I find it really difficult to get into. There's some fantastic podcasts. I know that Kris, you like this kind of thing where it's
Yeah.
a drama kind of unfolds in a podcast. I like it when it's about a real story.
So, what was this Australian podcast called?
Right, so this is Case File. So Case File.
Yeah.
So Case File is hosted by this Australian guy who's anonymous. Don't know who he is, and he basically researches crimes that have happened. They're not all Australian. As he's got more popular, he's branched out. So, for example, he did a 3-part series on the Morse murderers. And it just goes from like start to finish, what happened, who did it, how they got caught. Sometimes it's got audio clips of interviews and things, but it's just really interesting. So that is very enjoyable. Another one that I've just recently discovered, which I'm really annoyed about because they've not had a new episode out for a while, is called Cold Case Files.
Right.
And that's an American one, and I can't remember who it's hosted by, but she talks about cases that have essentially turned into cold cases, so they were never solved, and then they're like re-looked into years later, and then the outcome of that. So that's interesting. And my third favourite one is called Criminal. Criminal's
Right.
great. The Criminal's hosted by Phoebe Judge, and she's got a really nice voice. And the thing I like about Criminal is they only last about half an hour.
Right.
Right up Pete Street, then.
Yeah.
So you get your murder straight away.
It's not
no
always
mucking
murder.
about.
No dancing around the topic.
It's not always
Yeah.
murder.
Oh right. So sometimes they do Robin. Sometimes
Well, yeah, there's a really good
tax evasion.
there's a really good Criminal the other week where this and on Criminal it's great because she always speaks to the person who is linked to the thing that's happened, and it's like a reflective podcast. So for example, she talks to this woman who I think it was like 20 years ago she rented an apartment, lived in the apartment for 6 months, weird stuff was happening, and spoiler alert, at the end
Ghosts.
there was somebody living in the attic of her apartment with her, but it was just like she was reliving how it all unravelled. It's really interesting.
That's scary. So why do you? Okay, so to try and break this down, because that all sounds actually pretty good. I actually might check out that one where there's somebody living in the attic. That actually that sort of stuff absolutely terrifies me. Like the idea that someone
too.
lives in your cupboard. Like,
Yeah, have you seen that
that's
video
horrible.
online of that guy in, I think is it in Japan, where that woman, he puts
Yeah,
the video
Asia
camera in
somewhere.
his flat.
It's so scary.
But
Like,
that
and
you should listen to that, because I won't tell you now because everyone's going to listen to it. It's Criminal, and it's like I actually told my friend to listen to this the other day. I think it's episode 71, but it's really good, the stuff that happens in the lead up to it all. So yeah, you should check it out.
Oh man. So what is it specifically? Let's drill down now. Why do you like crime podcasts and TV and stuff like that? But why crime media, like true crime media? What is it that you get like a is it like a dark thrill, or is it just information, or is it like an ultimate story, or like what is it that you really enjoy about it?
I was talking to Sam about this the other day because I think it is more I don't like stuff about, this is really hard to explain, I don't really like sci-fi.
Right.
And a lot of the time I don't like stories or things or films that are about an alternative world. So I don't like Star Wars.
Right.
But the only exception really is Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter, but Sam was saying at the bottom of everything that I like, it's always about a normal person or normal people.
Right.
And so when I'm reading books, I don't like Game of Thrones. I don't like anything about kingdoms.
The grumpy
and things
Lord of
like
the Rings.
that. Don't like Lord of the Rings. I like things about real life.
Yeah.
And I think with the podcast side of it, it is I've always liked information. I've always loved history and politics and stuff. So I think it is the sort of information and the interest and the solving, how it's solved, because it all started when I was much younger watching Jonathan Creek. Loved Jonathan Creek.
So you're just waiting for the outcome of one of them to be a giant monkey, right? Like you're just waiting for.
I hate that episode. That is the one I hate. I will not watch that House of Monkey episode of Jonathan Creek.
But that's a riff on, I think, a famous Edgar Allan Poe short story, isn't it? The Murder in Rue de la Morgue. I love John. So I like the puzzle side, the mystery side. I love those. I love a whodunit. I love whodunits. Like, it's why I've read like a lot of. I've read as much Agatha Christie as I can. I've read most of it.
Oh yes.
When I was a child, that was my kind of go-to book.
Love Christie.
I also love that, Kris. Sorry to interrupt you. I love a whodunit, but I think as I've started listening to podcasts, I've also become really interested in why people do it. Because a lot of the podcasts you listen to, because you know who's done it, you start to think about it in a different way. If that makes it's like more lateral. You're not waiting for that peak. So I also like the why did they do it as well as the who. But with you, love a classic whodunit.
I'm actually dispelling all myths about my obsession with Sherlock. I'm actually listening to the complete works of the complete Sherlock Holmes at the moment, and like rocking through those, and as you say, Christie and that sort of stuff. Because I'm into that sort of stuff as well. But the true crime stuff, I've not listened to Serial. As somebody who's done podcasting for so many years now, I would have thought that Serial would be a thing that appealed to me, but it's just not so far. But yeah, no, I totally get that idea of wanting to. With some of these shows, you're right. Like, the super interesting thing is not who did it; it's the psychology behind some of the decisions they made up to the point that they decided to commit the crime. Yeah. All of that stuff is fascinating. Okay, so what were those 3 recommendations again that I'm going to go and check out?
I think you should check out Criminal because she's done. It's been around for ages now, so there's about like 80 episodes out there, but they're not all about necessarily a crime. There's one about psychopaths I think you'd like, and it's about what makes a psychopath.
Thanks for that. Yeah.
Not because you are a psychopath. That, no, because you were saying about, and I think you'd like that because Serial, I think Serial's fantastic, particularly the first series, brilliant. But I think, personally, I like it when it's about a fresh thing every time you listen. So I'd rather, you don't have to follow it week by week. So there's Criminal. Case File is brilliant, and Cold Case Files was the other one I was listening to.
Cold Case Files, brilliant. So those are all good. I will listen to all of those because I have also given. I managed to give the what was that show that you all recommended I should listen to?
The Adventure Zone, Peter.
The Adventure Zone. I listened to episode 1 of The Adventure Zone. So there you go. I do listen to nice things that people. Good.
While we're talking, about podcasts quickly, can I just recommend another one? Really good one that Sam and I listened to for the first time. Sam turned his nose up at this initially. It's called Twice Removed.
Okay.
So I love Gimlet podcasts, and it is a new Gimlet one, and it's basically they look at somebody. They have a person there every week, and they look at their family tree, and it sounds really boring, but it's very interesting. I've only listened to one episode, but that's a good one as well. Interesting.
Cool. That sounds good.
I can recommend the Mystery Show.
Oh, I've listened to all of them.
Yeah, where basically the host, people write in saying, I've got a mystery needs solved, and she solves it without using the internet. And
so it's like Challenge Annika.
Yeah, she doesn't just Google. There's only 6 episodes, it's another Gimlet.
But really, there's one in particular that is How Tall is Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah, that's great.
That sounds
brilliant.
really random, but it goes into fantastic she goes to
Depth.
fantastic lengths to solve these mysteries, and it's about the people she encounters on the way to solving this mystery. It's just lovely. It's just a lovely kind of series. Every episode is something different, and she has such a wonderful personality, the host. Forgive me for not remembering her name, but yeah, the mystery show, I can recommend that.
It's definitely a Gimlet one. But yeah, that was actually after the first podcast I ever listened to was Serial, and then I typed in mystery because I'm into crime and stuff, and that was what I found. That was the first crime podcast I ever listened to. Very good.
Very good. And lastly, I can recommend Invisibilia, which is my favourite podcast of all time, which looks at the invisible forces that connect us as human beings. It's from NPR. Fantastic show. Fantastic.
Particularly that one episode about
the kid who there's a guy who's blind, but he can still see. He goes cycling and he goes running and things, and he's completely blind, but not in a kind of daredevil way. He's just learnt how to if you hook up his brain to sensors and things, he's still seeing, but he's seeing without seeing. He's seeing in a different way, I suppose. He sticks his tongue to the roof of his mouth and does a clicking sound, and it's kind of almost like echolocation. And he's got it down to a point where he can kind of roughly tell what's in front of him, even its material properties, based on the clicking sound that reverberates back. It's extraordinary.
What?
And yeah, that is just these fantastic episodes. Invisibilia, amazing show. I'm currently halfway through their third season, actually. Fantastic.
We're going to plan a holiday together, aren't we?
I know.
Very excited.
Excited, mingled with a touch of fear.
Why fear?
Because, Pete, you and I have never travelled together.
We've travelled a little bit together. We drove... No, right, Kris. We drove to Grigenock.
That's true.
In Wales.
That's true.
And... that was a proper trip. We
you
drove to Blaenavon.
You nearly missed that trip, lest we forget, because you were sat in your underpants watching Transformers cartoons. I had to go round to your flat and knock on the door, and you looked at me as if I was in the wrong, but you missed the appointment, and I had to actually physically come and pick you up.
Can you not see that Rodimus is giving Ultra Magnus a right telling off? Yeah, okay. All right, that's a bad example.
But Pete, the reason I would just want to bring it up is I think before we can plan this holiday, before I can commit myself to travelling with you, I want to gauge what kind of travel personality you have. So I did what anyone does. I didn't consult a psychologist. I went onto BuzzFeed and I found a test, Pete, that I'd like you to complete.
I like this.
And Lisa, you can play along as well, just so we've got a control group. Because I feel like Lisa and I kind of resonate. We've talked at length in terms of travelling and stuff. And Lisa's a traveller. Lisa's travelled quite extensively. Mm-hmm. And I know, Gungadin, you've travelled in your previous job. You travelled quite a lot.
Yes.
But I still don't feel as if I've got a flavour as the kind of traveller you are.
Okay, well, should we use this as an opportunity to figure out who you're going to sit next to on the plane?
That's Lisa a very good point. Will it be Lisa or you? Okay, so first thing, a simple question. There's not many questions in this, about 5, 6.
Okay, that's good, yeah.
Pete, can I just get you to pick a colour?
Yellow.
Lisa, pick a colour.
Green.
Lovely. Gungadin, what's the most important foreign phrase to learn? Now, you've got 9 choices here, Pete. Is it which way to the cafe? Is it hello? Is it where is the bathroom? Is it excuse me? Is it thank you? Is it which way to the hotel? Is it taxi? Is it yes please? Or finally, let's get a drink?
It's thank you.
Thank you. Lisa Mart?
Let's get a drink. Or as you would say in Germany, noch ein Bier bitte.
There we go. Bonus points. I think that when Sam listens to that, I think he's going to make that his ringtone. Okay. Pete, pick an animal. You've got don't just pick that. It hasn't got every single genus or species here, so I'm going to give you some choices. 9 choices. Parrot, dog, eagle, rabbit, sloth, wolf, donkey, elephant, snake.
Sloth, without a shadow of a doubt. I own a rabbit, but sloths are the best.
Wolf. Sorry, Poppy.
Peter? Lisa. Pick a food. Yep. You've got a cheese toastie. You've got a beef stew. You've got tuna on white bread. A burger. Jam on toast. Steak. Spaghetti meatballs. Some Chinese fried chicken, stir fry, or pizza.
Sorry, I just really enjoyed watching Pete's face through all of those being read out. The disgust at white bread and tuna. He was like, ugh.
I would go. I'd have to say I'd go for pizza because it's very difficult to cock up pizza.
I wouldn't have the chicken because I don't eat meat, but I would always choose a stir fry.
Yeah.
Okay. Peter, what did you do last weekend? Funny enough, your weekend doesn't crop up on this choices. Here's your choices. Watched Netflix, went for a hike, ran a bunch of errands. I have no recollection whatsoever. Went to the park and read a book. Went to the movies alone. Cleaned my house, or at least tried to. Met up with some friends for the latest deets. Went to a few bars and danced. Peter.
I suppose I did stuff around the house.
So clean my house would probably be you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that kind of works. That kind of works for the game.
Yeah.
The great game purge.
Which will how the Doomsday Book will make a note of it. Okay, yeah. Lisa Mart.
Met up with some friends. Got the latest deets.
The deets.
If that was the phrase.
Okay, I want you to now pick an outfit. Are we thinking swimwear? Are we thinking... Well, tell you what, you describe for me the kind of clothes you take on holiday with you, that you'd want to take on holiday with you, that you would pack, and I will pick them. So, Pete, what kind of clothes are we talking? Just quickly.
T-shirt, long shorts, trainers.
Basically what he's wearing right now.
What I'm wearing right now.
Okay. Lisa Martin.
Okay, excellent.
Definitely some sensible shoes.
Yep.
And swimwear, sandals, and a maxi dress.
But Pete, what's your favourite app? I think that's part of BuzzFeed trying to do product placements.
Yeah, I think it probably is, isn't it? Twitter?
Yeah. Lisa?
Twitter's got T's in it, Pete.
T's?
I said Twitter's got T's in the middle. I was correcting the way you said Twitter.
Twitter. I've got that Twitter.
Mine is Snapchat. I'm going to get some like gap year travelling thing, aren't I?
Okay, I have the results. Peter.
Here we go.
Are you sitting down?
I am.
Okay, your travel personality, Peter, is the minimalist.
That does not go with the email he sent to us.
Minimalist or doesn't know how to pack. That's one of those two things. If it doesn't fit in your backpack, you don't need it. You collect memories and experiences, not things. People get really pissed when you return with less than 10 pictures from your 3-week tour of Asia.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but they get super excited when I delve out 30 bags of rare Japanese games.
Lisa Mart, okay. You got the partier.
Woo!
You are going to own this trip one bar at a time. Granted, no one is having as much fun as you, but it would be nice if you had one pic from the trip that isn't blurry, because you won't be able to remember any of it.
Whoa!
Brilliant. So there we go. The minimalist and the partier. That is your official traveller type.
That sounds about right, actually. It sounds like the novel, like a John Grisham novel.
I feel like us going away together, Pete, with our holiday styles, means we might find a really good happy medium.
Yeah. I think it's going to be top fun, basically. Like, I'm just going to use the opportunity to chill out, maybe read a book.
Maybe, like, entertain yourself about 50% of the time, maybe?
Yeah, maybe, something like that.
Yeah, because listeners, we got this fantastic email off you, Pete. Fantastic email. Yeah. And, as Lisa alluded to, the thing that really struck me is that you're looking for a holiday that is 50% of doing stuff. I can't remember what the words were. So exactly split down the middle. 12 hours.
Straight down the middle. 50%. I want 50% chilling out on the beach. 50% going and doing cool stuff. That's my holiday.
But then in our most recent email, you mentioned Iceland as a possible destination. Now, Iceland does have beaches, and you will chill out on them.
Yeah.
The reason we mention it is that we still haven't decided where we're going to go. No. And we're looking for a good value place, probably in Europe.
I was thinking how great it would be if we went to Santorini and played Santorini.
I want to go to Santorini, and I want to play Santorini.
I'd love to play Santorini, but that game is like 150 quid online.
Oh, well, it costs more than the holiday.
Yeah, basically. It might be quicker to actually just get planning permission to actually move around the towers while we're there. But yeah, no, Santorini looks fantastic. A colleague of mine just went for a honeymoon there. It looked brilliant. And with the blue domes on these white buildings.
Yeah, it looks amazing. And I think that from what I've read, the time of year we're looking to go in April, so that's quite a good time to go if you want to not be too hot to go and walk around. Because a lot of people go in the summer, but it's too hot to do any kind of wandering.
Exactly. So we're gonna beaver away at this, and hopefully we get to have something locked quite soon, so we can start booking flights and things. But I cannot wait. I think it's going to be hilarious. I can't believe we've never been on holiday together before.
I know.
No,
It's so strange.
Wonderful.
It feels weird. I'm gonna take my backgammon case with me. My leather-backed backgammon case. That's all I'm going to take, because I'm a minimalist. Because I want to make a joke, but I'm not going to make a joke.
Yeah,
You're making me crazy.
There we
exactly
go.
what I was
There
going
it
to
is.
say. So Jamaica, I think we've all played it. I know, Lisa, you've played it. I think we played it, Gunga Din. It's a racing game. Yeah, well, you race around the island. It's about 10 years old, this game, by GameWorks. I adore it. It's a beautiful-looking game. It's a lot of fun because, basically, you roll dice, depending whether you're the captain, which is the first player. When you rotate that each go, you choose which of the two die, what order you put them in, and that affects which cards people play and what they can do. And you race around this island, Jamaica, getting treasure, getting food, and if you land on the same place as somebody else, you get the chance to fight them, and you put in a number of cannon, roll a die, and see who wins. And if you win, you can steal something from the hold of another player, because you have holds in front of you which represent the hold of your ship. And to celebrate its 10-year anniversary, the company, GameWorks, have lovingly created this expansion called The Crew, which I'm yet to play with any of you. Hope they'll be playing it soon with Sam and Lisa. I have got it. I literally got it the day it was able for pre-order, and it's sold out the day after.
Whoa.
Awesome.
Yep. It's people were really excited about this. I've been following this game since Christmas last year. And basically what's great is that when you land at a port, in the past you'd have to pay some money as a toll for being there. But now once you land in a port, you have the option of taking a crew member on board to fill one of your holds. And you open the box, which is like a book, and you've got little steps that take you up, and there's a bottle of rum there in this little recess, and all these possible characters face down, and you flip them over, the ones surrounding the bottle of rum, and they basically give you different abilities. So one, for example, is like a merchant that allows you to interchangeably use cannon as if it was food, and vice versa, or to attack somebody on the space next to you where you are. So it completely changes the dynamic of the game. And they're also there are also victory points if you get they're in your hold by the time you get to the end of the game, or you get, actually some of them you get minus points if you don't actually cross the finish line. And you can jettison them, you can get rid of them, throw them overboard like you can any of the other holds, but it just completely changes the dynamic of the game, and you have to think even more tactically than before. I played it with my family, and they loved it. It's one of those classic examples of an expansion that kind of folds neatly back into that game and basically rejuvenates it. And it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I highly recommend it. If you've got Jamaica, if you haven't got Jamaica, you should get it. I think it's a must.
Is it a game like so? When people buy Machikoro, I always say to them, you need the Harbour expansion. Like, don't buy Machikoro unless you're going to get the Harbour expansion immediately.
Is that the game we played?
Yeah. It absolutely is. And like, basically, it's a game where if you don't have the expansion, it's so much more about luck, whereas this is much more about... Whereas the expansion is more about mitigating risk.
Don't they sell it... Didn't you say they sell it with the expansion in that?
Yeah, I think they do. I think it's called something like Machikoro Deluxe or Machikoro Nightlife or something like that. Which I'm up for. I'm up for actually taking a look at some point. But I think so. With that, it's an expansion where I'm just like, you have to get it. Do you need? Could you play? Do you still feel you could play Jamaica by itself, or do you feel like this expansion? You need the expansion? Like, is it that vital?
No, it isn't vital, but I mean, because it's been 10 years since this first game was produced, it's a beloved classic. So the people buying it are the ones that have just fallen in love with it, and they have fond feelings for it. And what I love about this game is that it doesn't eclipse the original in any way. In fact, it feels like you're just playing extra rules on top of the original. It doesn't complicate it or anything like that. So it's not necessary. You can still have as much fun without the expansion. But if you've played the expansion, if you played the original lots of times, what Malcolm Braff, Bruno Cattal, and Sebastian Polchon have done with this game, GameWorks game, is just rejuvenate a classic.
But what I know that in your family home, the original Jamaica gets a lot of play. Is it is an expansion that you have to have played it lots? Then, like, is it just simply a case of this is good for anybody? Like, it rejuvenates the gameplay, but so for older players, it's rejuvenating. You know, so a great chance to just come back. Or is it that this, actually this is a for experts only expansion? Because that would be my slight worry about getting into it. Because I know obviously your family's played it to death.
Yes, they have. In fact, my mother, actually, when we last played it with her, she had this strange tactic where she went backwards across the finish line halfway around the island by just mistake.
Wow.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. But no, you can play this whether you're a newbie or a consummate professional. I mean, it's not a very hard game. This doesn't increase the difficulty. You maybe have to think about one extra thing, but it makes it just as fun, if not a little bit more fun. What is already a fun game. It's a lovely game, and it's nice to sometimes, as Sam was saying a few weeks ago, it's nice to have a board to actually just pick up and move a piece around. There's something quite nice about that. It's nice to have something like that. Yeah, Jamaica should be on everyone's shelf. It's such a good racing game.
Oh, I was going to tell you about
Whitehall. Whitehall. So because Sam was going to talk to us about this, but he's got too much of a thing for this period of time and for this kind of game, I think. So it'd be nice to hear from you a slightly more balanced impression on what this is, because this is about Sherlock Holmes, right?
Yeah, to be fair, Sam here is just trying to indulge my love of crime, so...
He's a bit of an enabler.
Yeah, of crime.
Yeah. My brother bought me the Watson Holmes game for my birthday, and then Sam appeared with this Whitehall that I keep calling Whitechapel and can never remember what it's called. So it's a great game, though. What it's called?
It's Whitehall Mystery is the full title.
So this so Sam and my friend Hannah and I played this game the other week, and one person is essentially Jack the Ripper trying to commit murders. I think that's right. Mm-hmm. I'm getting confused with all my games now. And the other, so they work independently a bit. If you play Mysterium, they're behind a board like Mysterium.
Ah, right, okay, yeah, a GM screen, yeah.
So they're kind of doing their secret movements. Now the rest of you have got this board, which is like a map. There's 4 zones in this map, a bit like the Sherlock Holmes game, Consulting Detective. So there's four regions of the map, and the aim of the game is Jack the Ripper's got to commit 4 murders without being caught by the other players. So 1 in each zone. But the person, you can all only navigate the board in a certain amount of moves. So there's like number squares on the board, so he can't just jump from one corner to the next.
Right.
So you're essentially, and the other people work collaboratively. They've got three people, 3 detectives who they can move, and each time you move and you're trying to find where Jack the Ripper is, and if you find him or go on a piece where he's already moved, then he has to tell you. So you're sort of trying to chase him, and then you can decide to get a clue, or you can decide to make an arrest. And it all sounds very convoluted, but when you play it, it's a really interesting game. At first I was a bit unsure, but Hannah and I actually won. We caught Sam just before he committed his last murder. It was brilliant.
Nice.
So we have that sense of victory making us want to play again. But yeah, it's a good game.
It's hidden movements, isn't it? Which I love as a genre of gaming.
So do I. It's a bit like Battleship, but not. And it's a bit like that. It really. What's that game, Kris, that we played at New Year? The Alien.
Escape from the Aliens of Outer Space.
Yeah, it's a bit like Escape from the Aliens of Outer Space, if anyone's ever played that. So,
right.
Yeah, it's trying to track movements. So it's not really about unlike the other games, like the Sherlock Holmes games. It's not about the story, the mystery. It is about tracking movements. That's the tactic. So it's good.
No, it's got really good reviews. I spoke to Sam on the phone a few days ago, and he was waxing lyrical about how clever you all were. In the fact that he tried to he tried to kind of lay traps and things to
Yeah.
kind of sidestep you, but you didn't fall for any of them. And he said it was so hard because to start off with, he thinks, oh, I've got all of London ahead of me. This is going to be easy. But so obviously, as he works his way through the murders, the net's getting closer and closer around him because they know where he's murdered and they know where he's going to be. So I imagine it ramps up the tension quite a lot actually playing it.
But the interesting thing is, Hannah and I were like, there is no way we can win this. This game is ridiculous. You know, whoever designed this is crazy. You physically can't win. Whereas what we didn't know is, like, Sam's panicking on the other side because he knows where we are, but we don't know where he is. And he was like, there were so many times where you nearly moved where I was. It didn't help that I was trying to bake a cake while playing this game. So he was making a cake and Hannah's like, where should I move? I was like, just move.
I mean, but that's the thing. That sounds like, I really like it when board games work with their themes, and it sounds like when Sam was playing as the Ripper, that feeling of nearly getting caught must be. It sounds really thematic, and also like how are we ever going to track him down? Mm-hmm. Again, it plays into that theme of how do you catch someone like this? So smart. So it's called Whitehall Mystery.
By Gabriel Marie and Gianluca Santopietro.
Lovely little bit of accent there. The thing I've sort of weirdly become quite not obsessed with, but has certainly taken up a great deal of my mind space recently, has been golf.
Real golf or virtual golf?
3 forms of golf, 2 of which are virtual. So the first one is obviously everybody's golf, which we talked about last time, and I can't wait until I can talk to Sam about it. I know, Lise, he's probably been doing his dailies to make sure that he's been getting all of the updates and prizes and such when he goes online and goes onto the open courses.
Sorry to interrupt you, but clearly you've not heard about the awful week we've had at the Turner Martyr household. We have had no internet for a full week.
How did you cope?
We didn't. No, I used all my data on my phone. So Sam was working late. So my mum and dad are swanned off to Dubai at the moment. So I went over to theirs and used their internet to watch
weird, isn't
Sky.
It?
Well, we don't have any television apart from internet TV. We live on Netflix and iPlayer and other catch-up things. So we were pretty lost without it. So basically, I was telling you, sorry, because I don't think Sam has been as on it as he should have been.
Okay, well then more. But that is unfortunate for him because I've been doing my dailies where I've been getting lots of cool freebies from Clap Hands, who's the developer of the game. Basically, that game is amazing, and I can't wait to talk about it more. And it's occupying a big piece of my brain. To another one, so continue on this theme of virtual golf. I've been playing a really interesting game called Cheap Golf. So so this is a putting game, I suppose you'd call it. It's like a mini golf game, but so it was original on Kickstarter. I think it's now just come to Steam, so I backed it on Kickstarter and been playing the alpha and the beta and like really been watching its progress and stuff. So it starts off, you actually look at screens of it and it looks like an Atari 2600 game that's meant to be like a game about putting a little ball around. So it's a PC game, so you click with your mouse on the ball itself, click and drag, and then it fires off in the direction, then you have to get it into the hole. That's super simple putting game. But it sort of gives that impression, and then when you download it, you realise it's not this at all. It's actually a game where a very sophisticated AI called Susan is going to test your golfing limits for some reason, to capture some data about you. And as you progress through this game of increasingly more difficult challenges of putting this ball into the cup, the game starts to ask you very difficult questions about your life. Like, why are you still playing this? Why do you do anything at all? And then it'll just move on. And it will say things like, it'll ask you if you prefer, like, this is probably a bad example, but it'll ask you if you prefer one thing or another, like dogs or cats, and it'll go, interesting, and then just move on, and it's completely unrelated. And it's like this odd, psychedelic, ultra lo-fi putting game. It's like, if you like golf, it's not the kind of game you would immediately buy, but it's also a rock-solid mini golf game. It's like really good. It's a really good mini golf game, but also this really odd, strange, messed up AI game. It's, as I say, it's just about to go into Steam Early Access, and I'm going to keep playing that. But I've been playing through the alpha and the beta, and it's just absolutely weird and wonderful. And then the third type of golf is real golf. So I've got my birthday week coming up very soon, and I've been booking stuff into my schedule because I was originally going to go on holiday by myself. I was just going to take myself away to some foreign country and have a wander around by myself because I thought, you know what, I haven't done any travelling this year and I'm so annoyed. So I was like, right, I'm going to do that. And then I was like, well, we're going to do this holiday and I don't want to go away without Alex to some of the places that I can afford to go to, so I'm not going to do that.
Alex
so
was like, damn, I'm not getting rid of him.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. She was like, oh, God, get out of my house. So for a week, I decided I would take that same amount of money that I theoretically would spend and I'm going to basically give myself a no-limits staycation. So here are the activities.
Pete,
Here we go.
Can I just,
Yeah.
sorry to interject. So
Sure.
Sam and I went down to Bristol a few weeks ago and we were at Pete and Alex's, then went out for some tapas. It was all lovely and we were having this conversation about what Pete was going to do. Did you take any of our ideas on board?
Here we go.
Because we had some really good ones.
You had some very good ones.
Are you going to be a life drawing model?
I'm not going to be a life drawing model.
council
That was
alone.
my idea.
I did offer. I'm going to. Here are the things.
Walked in,
So-
stripped off. No.
No. Yeah. Excuse me, sir. This is the mayor's office. So basically, one of them is I'm going to have a crash course, quite literally, probably, in golf by a PGA Tour professional. He's going to teach me golf
Yeah. I've
in
had
a
that.
day.
In
a day?
In 2 half days. He's going to teach me golf. So I cannot wait.
Has he met you?
He's never met me.
Brilliant.
All we've
Can you
had is a
video
few,
this, please?
all we've had is a couple of little email exchanges saying, "Hello, I'd really like to know how to play golf. I can't play golf at all. Could you please teach me?" And he was like, yes. I was like, cool.
If you throw money at me, I'll do anything.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
I have been
happen.
playing it every day, doing my dailies.
Have you heard of Everybody's Golf? Because I'm a pro. So I'm going to be doing golf. That's one thing that I'm going to do. Okay, so I have also booked myself in for a baking day. I'm going to learn how to bake bread and cinnamon rolls and some third thing that I've forgotten the name of.
Excellent.
At a proper bakery, right? So I'm going to go and do that because I've never done that before and I thought I'll do that. I've also booked myself in for a dry slope snowboarding session because I've never tried that either. And I just thought, I'm going to give this a shot. This will be exciting, won't it? Yes, it'll be very exciting.
I want to take a week off work so I can come and just video this.
Me
Just watch.
too.
Just
This is,
like see this incredible.
can anything beat the Vine of you trampolining? I think it would be the
Nothing
snowboarding.
can beat
It
that.
would be the snowboard. Well,
I have it pinned to my Twitter page. It's the only reason anyone comes to my Twitter page is to see
Brilliant.
that.
see that one glorious gift. And then the final thing. Now, unfortunately, two more things. Scuba diving.
Yeah.
So, I've never done that before, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to go and scuba dive. Unfortunately, I can only do it in a swimming pool, but that's fine. So I'm going to do a day's scuba, like a tri-dive, it's called, of scuba. And then finally, now, unfortunately, this isn't going to be in my birthday week, but I had to book it this week. I tried to do it for my birthday week, but it's now going to happen in January. So you were wondering, what could possibly be more video-centric than me tipping arse over tit into a trampoline pit? Well, Kris, if you're free in January, come film me as I learn how to fence.
That was my suggestion. Excellent.
Yay! Right?
Hang on, Pete.
So,
check. Knowing you've probably booked a course where you learn how to build them.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm having 6 weeks, by which point I'll be a fully paid up member of the British Fencing Association.
Right. So Pete, I think we told Kris that when we were in Bristol, we were walking along the street, and Pete goes, "Oh, I always describe Kris as, the nickname we have for him, the smartest idiot we know." And me and Sam just stopped, because that is the way that Sam and Kris and Dan describe Pete. And we were laughing, and we were like, "No, Pete, that's how we describe you." And I think that this whole charade is an example of that, considering you are throwing so much money into this when you still can't drive.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because I'll be able to scoop my way to wherever. I can fence my way over.
I mean, Pete, this is like this is what kind of like rich dandies would do. You're becoming a Renaissance man.
I know, right? I know. I'm basically Oscar Wilde,
who famously said that golf was. What was it? Something he said about golf? He said it was a waste of a good walk or something?
Yeah, it was a good way to ruin a good walk.
So when we're on holiday and Pete's camping on the beach because he can't afford a hotel, we'll just be like, we'll know why.
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
I want Pete to happen is that one of these activities, and maybe we can take votes on it, will really take your imagination and you'll just stick with it, like the British fencing thing. I don't know whether you want to just... I can imagine you doing all the exams in golf and stuff. That'd be incredible.
Yeah, so that's going to be exciting. There's also the opportunity with the scuba thing that if I really do like it, I can go and get my diving qualification. He was just like, "Oh yeah, if you like it, come along and we'll do you in for this qualification. You can dive anywhere in the world." And I was just like, "All right." I managed to save a little bit of money recently by grabbing a bundle with a game in it, which, Kris, you've talked to me about this a couple of times. This game is called Oxenfree.
Oxenfree, yes.
And I saw it, and I thought, I need to buy this bundle, because if I don't, Kris will go mad, because apparently I should play this game.
Yep. I played it. Sam played it because we did that thing where I gave him access to my PlayStation remotely, which was fun because sometimes... Well, he reciprocated. The problem is, Lisa, I think you wanted to use ITV, and I was using Sam's PlayStation, so... I just got a message from Sam saying, "Can you not play this now? We want to watch TV."
I was like, don't make Kris stop playing the PlayStation. But like I said before, that is how we watch television.
Yeah, I should have really capitalised on that when you were without internet. But anyway, Oxenfree. It's I'm a sucker for good art, and this has got really good art. I like the look of this. It's got an awesome soundtrack. This fantastic electronic kind of soundtrack by Scientific America. I think it's called SCNTFC. I've had the music. You can find the whole soundtrack online. I've been listening to it non-stop while I'm at work. It's this kind of slightly trippy, electronica, synthy, retro soundtrack. It's beautiful. Picture this sequence. It's like a teen drama. Is not very dramatic. It's kind of a Y humour, kind of witty teen drama in America, where basically these kids have returned back to their hometown and trying to resurrect this tradition they used to do, where they'd go, I think, to this island and they just drink beer the whole night and just chill by the bonfire. And there's this girl who's come back, Alex, and she's brought her new stepbrother back with her, Jonah, to this island. And essentially she meets her friends, and it's got this fantastic snappy dialogue. The dialogue just snaps beautifully. It's very witty, very whimsical.
Well, is it an adventure game, or...?
Yeah, it's I hate to use it. It's a kind of a 2.5 game in the vein of what we talked about in terms of Inside, where you just move around the screen in a kind of side-scrolling platformer, but you can kind of move up and down. Okay. I'm probably hideously butchering the genre of this. I mean, it debuted originally on Microsoft, the Xbox. You can get it on Android if you want to play it mobile as well.
Okay.
And it was released on PlayStation a little bit later. But yeah, you basically end up opening a rift in time and space. And the game is really tripping how it explores notions of time travel. There's a really cool mechanic where you tune into this portal using a radio you've got in your hand, and you actually... And Sam gave me a great tip, was to change the sound effects so the radio sound comes out through the controller. So as you're tuning the radio in, you can hold your controller up to your ear, which is really nice. It's a lovely little mechanic. And I think there's something a little bit hollow, there's something a little bit lacking. I kind of wanted more from it than I actually got. I think I played it a little bit too long, but it was quite a breath of fresh air in some senses. This very very light, very dark in places. Mystery. You're trying to uncover who these people are, these strange voices, these horrible creatures you're seeing within these rifts that you keep popping, and how you're trying to reset time as you're doing it.
How do you actually move through this narrative? So is it kind of like... gosh, I really like Life is Strange. Is it that kind of walk up to this person, have a conversation, something happens, then you move on to the next conversation? Or is it a bit more puzzly?
The puzzles aren't that particularly complex.
Right.
It's more just about tune into this, find this frequency kind of thing.
Okay.
You basically, in a bit like Life is Strange, you walk up to a person, you have a conversation, you choose your responses carefully. That affects the outcome of the game. There are several different endings to this game, depending on the choices you make. Okay. It could be... how you respond to a character. Do I respond kindly? Do I respond abruptly and curtly? Or which of these characters do I choose to come with me to rescue another character? That affects future relationships. And there's a lovely little kind of motif that runs throughout, is where a character will take a picture, like Alex will take a picture or be in a photograph. And as you go from like one kind of chapter, I suppose, of the story to the other, that picture that was taken appears on the loading screen. Which is a quite nice little through line. It's kind of like Scott Pilgrim crossed with Stranger Things. That's probably how I describe it.
Ooh.
But less kinetic, but just very colourful and really kind of trippy. And it has that 80s retro style. So as time is fluctuating, it looks like the tracking on your VCR is dodgy. Stuff like that. It's quite nice. I don't know what it'd be like as a mobile experience, but I can recommend it. It's worth it. It's a short, bite-sized experience. Just don't play it for too long. Just try and play through the story as quick as you can, and then I think you'll enjoy it more. Don't do what I did, which is try and collect everything, because actually that doesn't add to the experience at all. Just burst through it as quick as you can and get that lovely, rich experience.
Talking about learning about new things, Lisa, please tell me all about Little Mix.
Hang on. Before Lisa does that, Peter, what do you think?
I was just about to... That was exactly what I was about to ask. Pete, before I explain, can you tell me what you understand by the phrase Little Mix?
Little Mix. So this is... I don't really talk about this, but I used to work in live entertainment marketing. I used to work for a music and theatre and comedy website, and we used to sell tickets. And it's a really easy way to stop liking music by working in the music industry for a bit. Just as I was kind of coming towards the end of my tenure, brackets, was asked to leave, the sort of the band that we kept hearing about, the band that I got PR email after PR email after PR email, was this band Little Mix. And they were tiny. They were absolutely tiny, but they had
physically.
No, like this massive PR company behind them, but they had a really small audience, and any tiny little story that they could put together, like, oh, Little Mix, go to Woolworths and hang out and eat some sweets.
Pete, do you know, like, they won X Factor? That's why they have a big following, because they were put on a stage and made by Simon Cowell on television. It's not some little underground band that have, like, formed themselves. They were made on TV.
Pete's thinking one or two things. He's either thinking, what's X Factor? Or two, is that an additional activity I want to do in my birthday week?
Hey, when he fences, maybe he can go on Britain's Got Talent.
I've got all the talents by this point. So, Little Mix, I didn't know that. Okay. So, yes, basically, we used to get people advertise. They basically got in touch with us all the time. It's probably why I didn't last very long in this company. They were telling us all the time about this Little Mix band. And I understand it to be, it's basically Sugar Babes for millennials.
Okay. I mean, I don't really know a lot. Well, I know a fair amount about Little Mix because I work with 10-year-old children.
Right.
However, the only reason I said Little Mix the topic is because Sam was like, oh, Pete wants to know 3 things you want to talk about. And I was like, what will Pete, know nothing about? So I was like, popular culture, Little Mix.
You know all of... Okay, so you know a fair amount about Little Mix. This is actually valuable information, right? This is a service we provide, right?
Okay.
If you want to find out about board games, brilliant, you've come to us. You want to find out about video games, brilliant, come to us. Comics, great. What do small children like about the band it is a band, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yes. About the band Little Mix. Like, how can we talk to young people about? How can we talk to older people so that they can talk to younger people about Little Mix and not feel embarrassed?
And this is all valuable. This is valuable for you, Pete, because when you meet Dan's baby in 2 years' time, you're gonna want to have stuff to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The little one's going to be like, "Yo, I'm into Little Mix now," and I'll be like, "Cool, great." And I will now regurgitate what Lisa tells me about Little Mix.
All I know about Little Mix is the amount of times when I was a class teacher, I had to sit while 3 girls would stand at the front doing their rendition of Little Mix. I think it's like girls want to be them.
Why do they want to be them? What are they, so they have like a tap, they sing, and I'm assuming like they do a little dance.
So they sing, and I think initially they were a bit like Spice Girls. They were sort of harmless.
Right.
However, nowadays they're getting slated a lot because they sort of walk around in like knickers on stage, and the lyrics are a little bit more racy. A little bit saucy. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I've got a boyfriend, we're gonna hang out. Yeah. So they're not exactly the best role models?
Probably not.
I mean, they won X Factor, right? They impressed Simon Cowell, and he seems like a nice guy.
I don't know. I think they're all right. Yeah, they're better than a lot of people out there as role models for children, I suppose.
Yeah. So what Little Mix songs should we know?
Black Magic.
All right. Okay, that's about the chocolates. Go on.
Wings.
That's about the chicken. Go on.
I don't know anymore.
Right, great.
I didn't actually think we were going to be talking about this topic. It was sort of a bit of a joke that's backfired on me now.
No, well, yeah. So we've seen now that we know almost comparable amounts about the band Little Mix. So is it all girls or is it all boys?
Right. Okay. I think I know more than you. It's all girls.
All right. So it's all girls. Okay, that's good. So they do singing. They probably do some dancing. They don't know how to dress themselves. Yeah. They've got songs about old food from the 80s.
I just love that you said that this was the band that had the most requests sent to you. You've absorbed none of the information about them.
Just went straight in the bin. It's just like, I've no interest.
No wonder you got sacked. You could be a bazillionaire now.
Yeah, exactly. I did really well in live entertainment, didn't I? Yeah. Do you want to know a little secret?
I would love to. I won't tell anyone. Keep it just between the 3 of us.
Let me tell you.
I will not tell anyone unless it's hilarious.
Well, it's not hilarious. But I will tell you a tiny little secret. For the first time ever, throughout this entire podcast, I have been, air quotes, playing, close air quotes, a game.
Throughout this whole podcast?
Rude.
Throughout this whole podcast. I know, incredibly rude, right? Normally that would be incredibly rude, but here's the thing. It's not, because I've been playing a clicker game, and I don't know if at least I don't think you've played a clicker game before, but when I tell you what they are, you won't believe they exist. Yeah, you won't play one. Kris, I think you've played one before. So just to explain to you, a clicker game or an idle game is a game where you don't really even need to be looking at the screen. Your interaction with it is usually little more than clicking on the screen itself or pressing another button to make a bar go up. Like, it's super straightforward. It is
even you can play it.
It's I play it absolutely, because they are genuinely fascinating experiments in game design, and also what's called Skinner box theory, which is like a psychological. It's basically this idea of like if you give a reward to a player, they will continue to do an action, and it comes from, I think, the 50s. Is that right, Kris? 50s, 30s?
I don't know. I'm not as hot on my game theory as
Skinner. It's from It's actually from psychological research. And anyway, so Skinner box theory. So an example of this, we've talked about this on the podcast before, is a game called Adventure Capitalist. And yeah, so it's just a clicker, basically a cookie clicker, some people call these things. And I have been playing throughout this entire conversation, and by playing I mean watching bars go up. A game called Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. So I've been playing this since the early alpha came out. I think it was alpha. I know one of the chaps who is behind the game, and I said I'd take a look at the game because I really liked one of their previous games, which was very similar to this one. So Idle Champions is a game in which you have a party of people, fantasy people, and they're on the left-hand side of the screen, and they're slowly walking to the right-hand side of the screen. The screen is slowly scrolling along, and what come along to get them are goblins and orcs and elves and dryads and all sorts of terrible things, because they are trying to stop you, and you are trying to get through. And you're going on quests. So you have this little party, and they're beating everybody. And to make them more powerful, they kill enemies. The enemies drop gold. You collect the gold, and then you spend gold to make your heroes even more powerful. That's the loop, right? So that's the core loop of the game, and it's very, very straightforward, much like most other cookie clicker games. Now here's the thing where Chris's eyebrows are going to launch off of his face. Because he knows a little bit thing about these. So this is quite a casual game. Like really, this kind of structure is quite casual. A game like Adventure Capitalist and Cookie Clicker, they're all really Facebook-driven games that, you play on another screen.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. This game has got the Dungeons & Dragons license on it. This is a
Oh, my
proper,
word.
full-on Dungeons & Dragons game where this thing is set in Neverwinter. It's got exploration and proper story with real characters from the Dungeons and Dragons universe. It is like ultra hardcore Dungeons and Dragons game with this very casual,
Some would
core
say
structure.
minimal.
Very minimal. Because the game is running. And as you can see on the camera, because we always talk to one another with the camera, I'm playing the game right now, and my hands are not anywhere near it. Now, I really like
So
these
hang on.
games.
So Peter. So your hands it's a hands-free game in some respects.
Unless.
So what's happening now? What is happening right now?
Right now,
Your
I'm
hands are away.
looking at my screen right now, and my characters are walking slowly, and they are smashing the crap out of some frogs.
So what does your clicking do? When do you come in and actually interact with it?
Right, ready for this? I'm going to click now. Now, me doing that click, every click that I do adds a little bit of extra damage into the mix, basically. So it's like clicking on the horrible frogs that are coming towards me, and it's doing a little bit of damage, but it's mostly my heroes that are doing the damage. And as they're going, they're picking up all of this gold, and things are going out. And now I'm going to do another click. Hold on a second, you wait for this. There we go. So what I've done is I've increased the skill of my hero, who is called Jarlaxle. He's a level 25 rogue who's a drow, and he's neutral evil. So again, it all ties back in with this Dungeons and Dragons license. It's pulling all of this stuff in, but at the end of the day, it is just seeing bars raise up. And there is a lot of design in that. There is a lot of very thoughtful, how do you get people to keep coming back every single day kind of design. And for me, I find this kind of thing absolutely fascinating. And I've been playing it, as I say, and seeing it evolve and grow throughout the alpha and beta period. And it's been, as somebody who's involved in the development of games, it's really interesting to see how they've changed and how they've increased retention, basically, of people coming back to the game. But for me, it's as a player experience. So this is the kind of game where if you've got a second screen, you have it on in the background and it's on the side, and you're mostly getting on with something else, like hosting a podcast, for example, or actual
Entertaining dinner guests.
Yeah, entertaining dinner guests.
Fencing.
Doing work fencing, becoming a full-fledged member of the British Fencing Association. All of these things that you're getting on with, and then every once in a while, the game just wants you to turn around, click on a few things, and leave it to be again.
Sounds shit.
Right. Okay. And I completely agree. Like, when you describe what clickers are, they are so
crap.
Tedious. Yeah, absolutely. They sound absolutely tedious. But they are, and believe me, for me, video games are explosions and sound effects and light and colours. I love things to just keep me entertained all of the time. But these clickers, there's something about them, and it's the good ones that will make you come back. Adventure Capitalist is a good one, and I think Idle Champions is one of the good ones as well.
Did I ever tell you about the time I got trapped in my swimming shorts?
Oh, for God's sake. No?
Oh, gosh. It was like... at my primary school, we didn't have a pool, so when we went swimming, we'd
Neither did I.
Well, no.
Did anyone?
But we did swimming, which was
Pete
strange.
probably
They put it on
did.
the curriculum. So we travelled... Oh, God, Pete had, ornate pools in his swimming pool.
Fencing and lacrosse. Water polo.
Just as it's swimming past the peacocks on their little lilos. But no, we went by bus to the high school, and they had this freezing cold pool. You would walk in and you would think, oh wow, that looks really toasty. Look at all that steam. It wasn't steam. It was just how cold it was. It was this mist. And there was broken glass in the bottom of it because all the kids would throw apples through the windows. So you'd just be, treading water in this glass-filled freezing cold pool. And we'd wear swimming shorts and stuff. And Pete, you'll understand this. You know when you try and get out of the pool on the ladder, and as you pull, the water tries to keep you down, and you feel it tugging on your swim shorts, and there's always that fear that it'll just pull your shorts down.
Yeah.
So, paranoid of this fact, when I was 10 or 11, I did a double, triple knot on my swim shorts, like the little rope thing. But what I didn't realise, I only realised this later, that if you want to tie a really good knot, you soak it in water, the rope, because as it dries, it tightens the rope. So it meant that when I got out of the pool afterwards, and I thought, great, they didn't fall down, superb, and we're getting changed, and we had a narrow window of 15 minutes to get changed, to get back on the bus and get back to school. I couldn't, for the life of me, undo these shorts. I couldn't get my nails in to undo the knot. I'd tied it far too tight. And then at one point, I just looked up, and everyone was dressed, apart from me, still in my shorts. And there's this panic set in. I was like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? So I take my towel and I just pad my trousers, my shorts as dry as I can, and then just put my trousers back over them. And it's so tight, it's like cheese wire. Every step I take, it's cutting into me. So I'm kind of mincing my way back to the bus with these kind of piano wire string holding my shorts up, and I had to go for the whole day at school trapped in my swimming shorts until I could get home and get a pair of scissors to kind of cut myself out.
You had to cut yourself out?
Yeah. Even with this racing snake physique, I was trapped in it.
Jeez.
That was Staying In with Lisa Mart, Peter Willington and myself, Kris Darby. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Visit stayingin.podbean.com for more information and links to the comics, movies, games and more covered in this episode. And come find us on Twitter @StayingInPod. Thanks for listening.